I think the longest I've waited in a line in KFC is over 2 hours.
You waited in line for 2.5 hours for KFC. It's Jamaican KFC though, so I get it.
Yeah, Jamaican people love.
Oh yeah, they love. Well, they love Jamaican KFC because it's Jamaican different. KFC. It's different. It is different. I get it.
Hey guys, I'm AJ.
I'm Shanique.
I'm Tazi.
So in 2018, we quit our jobs to travel the world and live a freedom lifestyle.
We wanted to share our journey with you.
So welcome to the family.
Hey family, welcome back to another Black Brits Abroad. Shanique here from FroFamilyTravels, and I'm so excited today to invite our guest here, Tahira. Hi, nice to meet you. I pronounced that correctly, right?
Tahira, yeah.
Tahira, yeah. Cool. Awesome. I was like, I know you just told me, and I can't believe I think I've forgotten already, but good. Good to know. Hi, Tahira. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm well, I'm good. I can't complain. How are you?
Blessed. I'm very well. Thank you very much. So I'm going to hand straight over to you because, yeah, we're just ready to hear everything about your journey, what you've been up to. So Tahira, let us know more about you.
Okay, so I'm Tahira. Many people know me as TT because it's just kind of easier for the tongue for them. So you will see that I go by TT quite a lot. I am of Caribbean descent, Jamaica. I only have Jamaica in me on both sides. So I was brought up with quite a strong Jamaican influence. Both spent time in my younger years in the UK and living in Jamaica as well. I'll go into that in a bit more details later on. And in my recent years, I actually studied in the Caribbean. So I studied at the University of the West Indies.
Wow.
In the Caribbean. It's known as UWI. So they kind of abbreviate the University of the West Indies. So I studied in Barbados and I studied in Jamaica. And my degree is from Mona, and I studied economics. So I will discuss that more in detail as well. But I'm currently in the UK. I've been here for just over a year and a bit now. So we can kind of jump in. I'll be happy for you to ask me any questions that you have, but that's just mainly why I'm here, to discuss and give you guys some information about my journey and living in the Caribbean and studying.
Yeah, let's get straight to it. So take us back, because most people who live in the UK, you were born in the UK?
Yes.
Yeah, you were born in the UK. So most people that were born in the UK typically don't think about studying abroad. And even if they do, many people might study in Europe or they might go to the US. It's rare that we hear people going to the Caribbean islands to study. Tell us more about how that came about.
I don't know. Personally, for me, I just wanted a change at the time. I had been to the Caribbean growing up. I'd lived there. Well, I wouldn't say Caribbean. I'd been to Jamaica growing up and lived there. So it wasn't like a place that was unusual to me. However, Barbados was somewhere that I didn't go growing up. I visited Barbados, I think, for the first time in 2012. Either 11 or 12, with a group of friends, and then I went back the following year. And then at that time I was at a crossroad and I knew I wanted to go back to study. I had studied at university in the UK for a year. I didn't really enjoy it, so I was actually looking to move out of the UK at the time. So I was exploring different areas, and I also wanted to go back and study. So the two just worked kind of hand in hand. My first option was to go to the US, like you mentioned. But I visited the US, and yeah, when I was there, I was just like, no, this is it. It just feels like I'm going back to London again, and I want a complete different experience. So yeah, when I visited Barbados, I think it kind of just screamed out to me like, come and study. So yeah, and I've also had like a big interest in building better ecosystems in the Caribbean. So I thought, what better way to learn about the people's needs and what the country needs and how to build a better ecosystem. What better way to do that by submerging myself into the actual culture and living there, understanding them from their perspective, as opposed to like, I feel like when you visit a country for about a week or two when you're on holiday, you don't really capture enough of what they actually have to go through on a day to day. You kind of like you're popping in and popping out. So yeah, that's like some of the main reasons behind why I chose to go.
Wow, fantastic. I love it. So tell us more about your actual time there. What was it like? I mean, you did have experience of studying in the UK, so I guess you can compare the two. What was it like studying in Jamaica and Barbados compared to learning in the UK?
It's different. I think for me personally, the learning there is a lot more independent. It's a lot more pressure. It's a lot more independent. However, I feel like you have a better interaction and relationship with your teachers. I feel like there's not a barrier there, as opposed to like in London, you have access to your teachers to go and ask for help and stuff like that, but it's very formal. Whereas in the Caribbean, I feel like because it's such a small environment. Well, Barbados, actually, let me talk about Barbados first, because Jamaica's not as small as Barbados, but Barbados is such a small environment, so you're likely like to bump into your teachers like in the supermarket, or so it kind of has like a family feeling to it. I don't feel scared to approach my teachers to ask for help, or so I think it's a bit more interactive in that way. When I went to university in UK, I don't remember even going to my teachers for help. I think I just figured it out. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot more support in that respect. What else? What would I say?
What about like the quality of the education?
I don't feel there's any difference in the quality. Yeah, I don't think there's any difference in the quality. I feel like in the Caribbean, they have a higher expectation of you, like you're learning, of you getting better grades and actually learning and understanding the material.
Really?
So, yeah, I can say in my first year, I did struggle a little bit because growing up, I was always that person that kind of retained information in the class. So I didn't really revise. I wasn't somebody that like really revised, and I kind of just passed my courses. And in the UK, trying that method in the Caribbean, it didn't work. I had to sit down and study.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, there was. I think I personally feel like the quality was a lot better. It applied a pressure to me, to myself, to want to do better, or to want to learn, because like I kind of don't want to fall behind. I want to keep up, or keep on top of the work, or keep on top of the information.
Yeah. And so I'm getting the sense that they genuinely kind of more cared about your education, because I feel like studying in the university, like if you fall off, well, that was my experience anyway, if you fall off or you're struggling, nobody really cares. Like no one's coming to chase you, no one's coming to check on you to make sure everything's okay. So do you think that was different in the islands?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if you, as I said, because you kind of, a lot of people will build, like someone might have a relationship with a teacher in one particular course, and then maybe not as close a relationship with another teacher. But however, if they see like a change, they might say, "Oh, what's wrong?" Or this, as I said, it's informal, so there is that sense of like care there.
Yeah, that's cool. And what was the actual application process like? Like, how was it easy to get into the university? Did you have to do interviews? How was it actually applying and getting your place there?
For me personally, it was quite straightforward. Um, and I don't know if it was straightforward because I'm quite a proactive person. So it's like when I want to learn or find out about something, I'm like, oh, I can be annoying. So before the actual application process came out, I contacted them.
Okay.
To just kind of like run through when the application process is, what I need to submit, so that I can kind of get ahead of getting those papers and stuff in place before the actual application process approached. When it did come up, it's quite straightforward. They have a portal. So like in the UK, we have a lot of people would use, is it UCAS?
UCAS, yeah.
Yeah, UCAS. But because in Barbados, at the time, I think UWI was like their only or their main university, there wasn't like a need for UCAS because it's not like you're applying for different universities, you're just applying to that particular university.
Yeah.
So they had an online portal, and you kind of like create an account, and then you select the courses that you want to study. So I think they give you don't quote me, I think it's 4 options.
Okay.
I think you could choose for 4. It may be more, but you can choose. So like for instance, maybe if you don't get your first option, or they might put you into your second or third or fourth. So you'll fall into one of them.
Yeah.
And then you submit that, and then like anything else, you would submit supporting documents. Mm-hmm. So your supporting documents would be, for example, like in the UK, like if you've done GCSEs, you'll submit those, or if you've done college, A levels, BTEC, you would submit those papers so that they can see like what level you're at. And then I believe they do use a grading system as well. Okay. So it's like I think in the UK, in some universities, you have to get AAA to get into law. Mm-hmm. So people who have like higher grades are more likely to get onto the law courses as opposed to those who probably have lower grades. Just because law is one of those courses that are in high demand.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So initially I wanted to do law. I think I applied for economics, law, then economics with law, and then I can't remember what the other course was. I was accepted for a course called Economics Special. Okay. So you do economics, but along with your economic courses, you can select any courses to do alongside it. So I could have selected like Spanish courses, or I could have selected business courses. So I believe they probably put me in that because it still would have allowed for me to do the law courses.
To do law alongside it, yeah.
Once I got to university, I changed my mind and I didn't want to do law. So it was actually a really good thing that I got accepted for that. Because if I was stuck with economics and law, then I would have just had to do economics and law. So, sometimes life knows what you need best.
Absolutely. So you ended up doing economics with what in the end?
I picked up quite a few business courses along with accounting courses and a little bit of marketing. So like business mix.
Yeah. Nice. And how was it getting your student visa in order to study abroad? Was there a particular process for that?
Oh, I didn't. Sorry. Let's just go back because I forgot to mention about the application process with the submitting my papers. I could not send them copies of like just my grades. They're quite. maybe not now because they fast forward a little bit, but at the time they wasn't like up to date with using technology to process data, like how we do in the UK. So a lot of your submissions still were quite paper based. So I had to submit, like I said, my grades and stuff. But in order for me to submit that, I think I had a friend at the time that was traveling to Barbados. I didn't want to send her with my original documents, so I had to make copies. But they only accepted the copies if they were like notary signed.
Notarized, yeah.
Yeah, and that's very expensive.
Yeah, because it's like per document as well.
It's per document, yeah. And some notary public, they charge like £100 per page or 60 or 80. So
really?
It can be quite pricey.
Wow.
To do it. I was just lucky at the time that we had a family friend that was a barrister, and so I went back and I contacted the university and asked them if the person's like a barrister, is okay, and they're like, yeah. Once they're an official and they provide the proof that they're signed on. So she signed the documents for me, and then I sent them with my friend and submitted them. And also to get into university, you have to do like an English proficiency test.
Of course, yeah.
If you got an A in English, I think then you're exempt from doing that test. But anybody other than it could be like a B plus, or you have to take this proficiency test. Wow. And in Barbados, the test is usually in February. And because I was planning to move June of that year or July of that year, it wasn't cost effective for me to go to Barbados in February to just take a test for an hour to pass or not pass.
So you have to take, sorry to cut you, you have to take the test in Barbados.
Yeah. They don't have any centres in the UK that allow for taking the test.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a loophole. That's something that we could maybe look into with them to try and get a lot more people studying out there. But aside from that, so I didn't take the test. So if you don't take the test, what they do is they have you have to take a course alongside your courses.
Like an intro course almost.
Yeah, and the courses, I think it's like a year, but then the course fee is separate from your university fee. So you pay for the course separately. Yeah. Wow. So I did that instead because it was a lot more cost effective than.
Of course, once you got to add up flights, accommodation, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the fees, because that's kind of another one of the big things that people probably concern themselves about, is how much it's going to cost to study in another country.
Yeah. So as an international student, it works out roughly at around £10,000
per year.
Per year,
right.
Roughly.
Right.
That obviously can fluctuate. It can go up, it can go down, it can change at any point. But that's like the rough roundabout cost of it. As a Jamaican, so they have these different islands that have grouped together, and they have something called the CARICOM.
CARICOM, yeah.
Yeah. So with the CARICOM Islands, they have a special fee for them, and their fee would be, I think it's around about just about 3,500 a year, around about that. Yeah.
So did you do it as a Jamaican student or as a British student?
If you do it as Jamaican, if you're part of the CARICOM, if you have Jamaican citizenship, Barbados citizenship, or Trinidadian citizenship, I believe. There may be others, but those are the three that I know of.
Did you have your Jamaican citizenship at the time? Yeah. So you were able to study as a CARICOM student?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
makes it much more cost effective.
Yeah. So those are the fees. And then obviously outside of like your major fees of paying for university, then you have like cost of living and travel and just daily living. So
Of course. So how was it living on the islands? Did you have student accommodation? Did you live with other students?
no, I'm actually a very unconventional person. I didn't live on campus. I didn't. There was a period where I did try to live on campus at one point. I think it was like for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I lasted 3 weeks. I was like, let me try it. And then I tried it and I was like, nah, this isn't for me.
Why?
I don't know. It's just, I think maybe at the time of where it was in my life, because I went like at an older age. A lot of them were a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
Not much younger, but
then like 1-2 years is significant at that age. I get it.
Yeah, so a lot of them were like 19 and I was like 23 or 24.
Yeah, that's significant.
Yeah. So I lived off campus. I didn't live far from the university. At one stage, I did live with someone that was studying as well.
Yeah.
But she wasn't enrolled at the university I was going to. She was at the University of the West Indies Open Campus.
Okay.
Yeah, she was enrolled in the Open Campus. So yeah, we lived together for a short while, but yeah, for most of it, I did live alone.
And what was it actually like living on both islands? What were your favorite things about each island?
Okay, so I must say, the beach is not my favorite place.
Okay.
No, like I like it, but I don't like the sand. So I'm not somebody. So it's not my favorite place to run my feet in.
No.
However, I love looking at the beach. I love looking at the sea
from afar. You're like.
Yeah.
Over there.
So my favorite thing to do in Barbados was to go to restaurants that are kind of on the beachfront.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just sit back and just look.
Yeah. Watch the sunset. Eat good food. Listen to good music. That was one of my favorite things to do. In Jamaica, eating was my favorite thing to do in Jamaica. It's my favorite cuisine. I think that's me being biased, but
I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, eating was one of my favorite things to do. I don't know. I feel like Jamaica has just a lot more. Do you know what? When people will ask me about these two islands all the time, and they're two complete different islands. So there are things that I love about Jamaica, and there's things that I love about Barbados.
Of course.
Barbados is a lot more slow paced.
Slower than Jamaica, really?
And then Jamaica is a lot more, because where I lived in Jamaica is like Kingston. I lived in between Kingston and then sometimes I was in Portmore.
Right.
So it's a lot more upbeat.
Right.
In Kingston, I feel like in Kingston they're always on 100. It's never below that. I
haven't been, but I get that feeling.
Yeah, I get that below 100. But I did love my experience in Jamaica University a lot more. I don't know if that's because, again, like I've mentioned, that's the culture that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So I maybe understand it a lot more.
Of course.
And probably I have a lot of qualities that are the same.
Similar, yeah.
So, and also Jamaica's university is a lot more bigger than the university in Barbados.
Right.
Jamaica's land space is bigger as well. So in Barbados, what you find is a lot of people that, as I've mentioned before, because it's kind of like the main university that everyone goes to, a lot of people come to university with their friendship groups already formed.
Yeah.
Because they're coming from like college with each
Yeah,
other.
of course.
Whereas in Jamaica, because it's a bigger land space, you have people coming from like the countryside, and they may not be coming with their friends at the same time and stuff like that. So you're more than likely to create new friendship groups, or I don't know, they're just a bit more outgoing, a bit more. There was a lot more clubs. There was a lot more things to join, a lot more activities to do. So I really do. I really, really do love Jamaica. I actually wish now, with the information that I have, that I did the majority of my years in Jamaica.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it split 50-50 between the two?
No. I did the majority in Barbados.
Okay.
And I did about a year and a half in Jamaica.
Right. Got it. Wow. So you had spent majority of your life prior to this in the UK.
Yeah.
So were there any culture shocks when you kind of moved to the islands that you experienced?
Barbados, yes, because as I said, it wasn't somewhere that I visited growing up. I don't have any family from Barbados. And I didn't really have any friends either, so it was a complete new environment for me. So yeah, definitely there was a lot of just the way in which they do things. I think with the Caribbean, it forces you in life to slow down.
Yeah.
Especially coming from London. Yes. I feel like if you live in England outside of London, you might have an element of slowing down in you, but in England it's like very fast paced. You're always on the go. You get not much sleep, and then you're up again, and you're just there's always something to do. True. Even if you don't work, there's always something to do.
True. Yeah.
Where in the Caribbean, they move in their own time, and you will wait for them because if they're not ready to do what you need them to do, then you will sit and you will wait until they're ready to do that.
Can you give an example?
So let's speak about briefly CARICOM.
Okay.
To work in Barbados, so as a student, having a student visa, it doesn't allow for you to work in Barbados.
Right.
So is it okay for me to say, basically, they want people to come there that have rich parents? That would be my general consensus, because how do you expect a student to survive?
Yeah, if you can't work.
With expenses, you can't work legally. I think they should put something in place where you could work part-time, or they maybe could put a cap on how many hours you can legally work, just so that it allows for opportunity. Is more, what should I say, maybe more inviting for people to come and to study there. Yeah. Because they do allow you to work on campus, but then let's imagine there's limited jobs on the campus. Of course, so not everybody's going to be able to get a job on campus, and then again, they can set how much you make. So you're probably not making much anyway working on campus, as opposed to if you maybe go out and work like a little maybe bar job where you could get tips or so I was lucky at some point because I could apply for my CARICOM. The CARICOM process was, should I be nice about it? No, I'm not going to be nice about it. The CARICOM process was terrible. This was prior to Mia Motley coming into administration. Okay. It was atrocious. However, we have to give Mia her props, because Mia came in, and within the first month, 2 or 3 months being in administration, she made some dramatic changes that made it so much easier to get a CARICOM. And I must say, I spent most of my years in Barbados without my CARICOM certificate being able to work.
Wow. But she came into power while you were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did she come in while I was there? I think just as I was going to Barbados.
Okay.
No, Jamaica.
Okay.
She came in.
Okay.
Yeah, but I still applied for it because I wasn't sure if after university I was going to come back.
Right.
So I thought it was better to have than not to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I applied for that. But again, that was a pain, and that was teaching patience. Documents that they need documents to be precise. And for example, like I have a double-barreled surname, and I find in the UK a lot of the time I use Smith by itself, and a lot of the times they accept it as the Smith without the first part, with the first part omitted. In the Caribbean, they're not going to accept it. It has to be written how it is. Again, as I said, they wasn't really tech savvy, and they wasn't tech savvy because they didn't know how to be tech savvy.
Right.
Because there was a study done, and Barbados were actually quite high in absorbing new technologies. So it wasn't that they weren't able to use it. They just wasn't doing using it.
Yeah.
So that meant then for me to submit documents all the time, I had to go to the office. And you can imagine how slow being in the office is. And you'll get to the front and there will be like one document missing. And they'll be like, well, we can't accept it. So, and I'm like, so can I maybe email over the other piece? No, we're not going to accept that by email. You'll have to bring it in. So now I have to go all the way home and come back on another day.
Yeah. Start all over again.
Yeah. So yeah, that's quite frustrating. The banking as well. I think I remember there was one time in the bank I had to change. It was something so small, like I had to change my address or something. And I called them ahead of time just to ensure what documentation they accept. The lady said, your driving license will be fine because it has a picture and it has your name. I got there. I sat down. There was loads of other people waiting, but I was patient about it. Finally, when it was my turn, the lady said she doesn't accept that document as proof of who I am.
Wow.
And I was so frustrated because I was like, I called ahead to ask, what do you accept, to ensure that I brought the right documentation with me. And yeah, later on, I did contact them and just like kind of made a complaint. And when I did make the complaint, they were like, no, we do accept that.
No way.
So then when I went back the second time, they actually accepted it. So I don't know if it's that the lady didn't want to accept it or she wasn't aware that there was documents that I don't know what transpired, but it's time wasting.
Yeah. But I feel like the attitude is like, you know, it's the islands. Relax, chill. What are you getting worked up for?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's the same here in Mexico as well. You really just have to something that could take an hour could take 3 days here. I ordered something from Walmart. It's probably been almost a week now, and it was supposed to be delivered. What day are we? Thursday. It was supposed to be delivered Friday, between Friday and Sunday. It's Thursday. No one's contacted me. I haven't heard anything. And it's like, if you don't put some kind of pressure, like they're not rushing.
Not rushing.
They're chilling.
You're going to wait in their time.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been back in the UK now?
It's been about a year and 8 months now, I believe. I came back COVID. I came back COVID.
Like kind of mid-COVID. Yeah,
I came back at like right at the end of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, around December-ish. So Yeah, I've been here a little while now.
How's it being back?
See, it's the opposite now because now had a complete cultural shock coming back because now
Reverse culture shock.
I'm like island girl, kind of chilled and just like, and everyone is just like moving fast, and it's just like take your time, take your time, and then again, not to speaking for myself. Because I feel like I've moved out of my environment and I've come back to the environment that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bigger perspective on the world and the understanding of the world and just people, and have maybe like a lot more patience and stuff like that than like a lot of people that have just stayed in this area and just kind of not moved out.
Of course.
Yeah, so that itself has been a bit of a clash as well for me. But yeah, outside of that, it's just like anything else. You just adapt again to wherever you are.
Yeah, reverse culture shock is very, very real. I felt that. Yeah, I felt it. I struggle in the UK now. I can't be back for too long. Or if I'm back, I don't mind being back because it's great to see family and friends and stuff. And and get kind of like the foods or the home comforts that you did miss. But I need to have like an exit date. I'm like, cool. I need to know that there is a period that I'm working towards and I'm going to be out again because
that's me right now. That's how I feel.
So what's the plan? So you're not planning to stay in the UK then?
Not long. I don't think I would like to live here long term.
Okay.
I think it's definitely somewhere that I always come back to.
Yeah.
But it's not somewhere that I want to necessarily live long term. Should I call myself butterfly? Kind of don't mind moving a lot. I wouldn't have a stable base, obviously, but yeah, I think the Caribbean would be ideal for me. Especially with what I kind of want to do in the future. But yeah, the UK is too fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
Way too fast paced to be all the time.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like you said, now that you've kind of had an immersion experience of being on the island, just going back to that, it's literally the complete opposite of what you've experienced.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, especially being in London in particular is intense. It's very, and then going through COVID, and I'm sure that must have heightened the experience as well. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Do you have a particular island that's calling your name at the moment?
No, I think I would go Jamaica, just mainly because it's where family is. My parent lives there. I think I'll just go Jamaica, just mainly because it's like, for me, it's like going back home.
Of course, yeah. Of course. So how do you feel on both of the islands? Like you said, you've got experience of both. How do you feel you were welcomed in both countries by the people?
Jamaica, I don't really feel a difference, but I haven't mentioned that I should mention. I went to basic school when I was younger.
Okay.
Basic school, I believe, is like the equivalent of going to nursery.
Okay.
England.
Okay.
So yeah, I did start my school life in Jamaica, and then I used to go every year. Sometimes we'd like stay for the whole summer, go for the whole Christmas.
Okay.
So I spent quite a lot of time growing up in Jamaica anyway. So it wasn't like it was foreign for me or the people. But Barbados, how were the people? They were okay. I don't think there was anything that jumped out particularly. As I said, like it's with me because I spent like a lot of time at university. A lot of them had their friendship group already, but I did make a lot of my friends that I did make were not university friends. It's probably like friends outside of university. So maybe like from me going out or meeting a friend for a friend, stuff like that. Yeah.
Was it quite easy making friends there?
No.
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 Like you could maybe because it was quite cliquey, and if it's quite a small island.
Yeah. I feel like everyone kind of has their group formed already.
Yeah,
but
young people especially are quite kind of protective of their groups, I think.
Yeah. Maybe making male friends, but are they really male friends?
I know, I get that. I get that. I kind of experienced that at my university as well. I had my core group of girlfriends, but sometimes it's easier to get on with guys as well. Yeah. At that age, there can be a lot of just cattiness and kind of things that happen. So I think I don't. That's probably not kind of unique to Barbados. I think that's probably a global thing.
A global thing, well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but Jamaica, I think I don't know. I think they're like a lot more outgoing. But I think just that's their culture.
That's the nature, because
they're like the nature of their culture is quite inspiring, creative, outgoing, and they're quite stand-up-ish. So I don't know, just a bit more. As I said, like even the teachers, I feel like the teachers embrace me a lot more. Males and females embrace me a lot more. Jamaica was just it for me.
I hear it.
Not to boast, but
No, I hear that. There's some look. Some things just have to be said. There's something special about Jamaicans.
There definitely is. I don't think I went a day without being entertained in Jamaica.
I believe you. I believe that. I love that. I was watching.
It's like walking. It's like you're walking in Netflix. Like you're walking in a living series or movie. That is Jamaica. It's like, who needs Netflix when I could go outside and experience it in, should we say, 4D?
Every day is an adventure. I love that. Listen, the last interview I did was with a Jamaican as well, who's living in Kingston currently, actually, as well. And I swear, the more I talk to our people, I'm more and more convinced that we need to spend time in Jamaica. I'm like, why have we been
I feel like everyone needs to go and spend time in Jamaica. I want to encourage people so that I definitely was trying to start a platform, like just putting like what you're doing as well, putting the information out there and trying to make the link. So I've always kind of had this concept. This even was like one of the reasons why I wanted to go back as well, because they're like growing up and seeing my like grandparents come to the UK in the Windrush and stuff like that, and seeing how developed the UK is because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember growing up and I always had an interest in, oh my gosh, what if there was like a reverse Windrush where we had young people kind of now taking the resources of the education and the stuff that they have accessibility to back to the Caribbean, and coming together and grouping together with those in the Caribbean and kind of just, as I said, building a better ecosystem because based on collaborative work. Because I feel like what a lot of us do is the Caribbean is like a dumping ground for a lot of people. So a lot of people just come, they come on holiday, they enjoy, and then they go about their business. But because I lived there, I got to see how life is after vacating.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So like as I said, a lot of people come, they dump, they have their 1 or 2 weeks fun, but they're not actually really taking in the experience of how everyday people live in those countries and with limited resources as well. So sometimes they may come in and it may seem like, oh, this person has money, but they may have money in the season that is quite high because you've come in as tourists and the money's coming in. But when it's kind of low season, then where does their money come from? Because
Right.
their ecosystem that's built at the moment relies quite heavily on tourism.
Of course. Probably too heavily on tourism.
And then when you saw something like COVID happen, you saw how much relying quite heavily on tourism impacted the lives of those that actually live there.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah.
Of course. I feel like that is, like, everything you're talking about is probably what the Windrush should have been about, and I think it was supposed to be, but you know how things went, and unfortunately our ancestors, our grandparents, and a lot of them just ended up kind of getting trapped and stuck in the UK much longer than they should have done. But I feel like that definitely should have been the plan, is go there, utilize, like you said, go and rebuild the whole of the country. The UK would no way be what it is without our grandparents and parents. And we should have been able to bring that back and continue to evolve and build up Jamaica as well on our own, without having to rely on Chinese or other countries to do that for us. So, but it's you know what, I am of belief that it's still possible.
Definitely.
We have the diaspora that I think are very keen and interested. I definitely think you should start a platform, like, make it happen. I think I'm through Black Brits Abroad, FroFamily, I'm seeing that more and more people want to do this. They want to go back to their motherland, whether that's straight back to Africa or to the islands, and they want to give back, what we have. We have skills, we have knowledge, we have money, and combine that alongside with the native people of the country as well. Like, oh man, if we all just recognized our power that we have amongst us.
Exactly. So yeah, I'll definitely looking into that. I'll definitely see myself in a position where I could maybe come on with the university as the West Indies as an ambassador as well. That could promote, obviously, people like not just Caribbean descent, because there may be people outside as well, but it will promote more people to come and to study at the University of the West Indies, because they have loads. Although it's like one body, they have loads of campuses. So, like myself, you can get a varied experience. You could go to Jamaica, or you could go Barbados, or they have that opportunity where even if you're studying in Barbados, for example, you can opt to do a semester in one of the other islands, like Trinidad or Jamaica, if your GPA is up to the level that they need it up to. So then you still kind of get that experience. I believe for myself, where there is a lack of is funding and I would say the Caribbean relies quite heavily not on student loan like the UK, but they do rely on like scholarships and stuff a lot.
Okay.
So I believe where there's a gap in the market is that we need to approach people who can offer scholarship for those in the UK of a certain demographic, whether that be they're looking for people in maybe tech or science or whatever it is, and offer like scholarships for people to come and study there or do a part study as well. So I think we need to promote that a lot, because again, me studying in the UK, and then after finished studying in the UK, want to go and live in the Caribbean and help with the ecosystem, it's still a process. It's still a process where you still would need to go and live there for maybe 5 years or 3 years or what, how many ever years, to understand the people and their needs.
Yeah.
And then you can then figure out what it is that they would best need. However, if you're afforded that opportunity to study and live there at some point, you're kind of learning alongside.
Yes.
At the same time you're studying, so it kind of helps the process. But yeah, that's just my take on that.
I think I can see it, and I like the idea that you've suggested. I think it's something that probably most people wouldn't even consider, haven't thought about.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think we should be investing in young people. It's the future. That's where the future is. That's right now with everything that's going on. I honestly think it's young people that are going to turn this whole world around. So it absolutely makes sense that that's where our investment should be. So
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, please, follow this up. I really hope that you.
No,
you do
I will.
With
do you
this.
know? I've actually did a few consultation sessions with there's been people that's younger people that's reached out to me.
Yeah.
There's just asking information. So I've done one-on-one consultation sessions where I kind of just go through with them what is it they're looking for, what is it that they want to achieve, and just giving my honest experience and advice. And because I have a lot of information, so I've gone through all of the processes. I've gone through applying for I've gone through applying for Jamaican citizenship, so I know how the citizenship process is. I've gone through applying for CARICOM. I have people that even live in Jamaica, friends that live in Jamaica, friends that live in Barbados, that don't even know what CARICOM is. They didn't even know there was a free flow of
across the islands.
Yes, across the islands. They didn't know they were
that they could go and work in the other islands as well.
So there's even a lack of information in there. But because I've been through it, I'm able to give that information. I've done the whole packing barrels yearly, to help with cost of living, and do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of information that I have firsthand that I'm willing to give to anybody that's wanting to learn.
I love that. And if people want to book a one-to-one session with you, how can they do that?
So I have my email. They also can contact me via Instagram. So on my Instagram page, my email's there as well. And with that, I generally then would send them a Calendly link, my calendar, which will show my availability, and then they'll kind of just book in where's best for them, and then we can go from there. Sometimes I might shoot them just a few questions before, so that they can pre-prepare for the consultation that comes up. So then we kind of know what we're addressing, just so that we make good use of their time.
Of course, you want to maximize every moment that you spend with them. This is really helpful, because I'm sure we will have young people, if not young people listening, parents listening, that might want to encourage their children to think about studying in the island. So it would be really good to know that they've got someone, like you said, that's been through the whole process, that can talk them through it. And you said that things have changed, so it should be even easier than when you were going through it now as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
Awesome. I'm going to make sure that I get all of your details, so we can link all that information in the description. So if anyone wants to reach out, they can do that quick and easily through you. One more question, if you don't mind, before we go. So if you were afforded the opportunity to do your time over again, is there anything that you would do differently?
Absolutely not.
No?
No, absolutely not. I believe in life, everything is a process, and that process and that journey is for you uniquely. Again, going back to what I just mentioned, had I not gone through what I went through and how I experienced it in the way that I experienced it, I wouldn't now have the information to share.
Yes.
So I wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. I love that. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, we don't do regrets here either as well. So, Tahira, it was an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I've learned so much. And I'm definitely ready to like sort out our Jamaican citizenship and passport as well. Yeah, I need to make that happen. Yeah, we got to spend some. I was watching with my husband. We were watching a video earlier of someone that was sharing their life in Jamaica, and I'm like, yeah, I think we need to consider this. Definitely.
You would love it. You would love it. It's just for me. I just feel like Jamaica's so multi-purpose. So I feel like for anything that you like or whatever personality you have, there's an area in Jamaica that's fitting for you.
Yeah.
So you have some people that like are soul searching, and you have like places like Negril and Portland that's like just amazing for that.
Yes.
You have people that want to be close to nature, and again, you have the country areas that are good for that. You have myself that, okay, I love London, and I kind of like the fast-paced life, but I like it fast and slow. So
yes.
Ideally, I personally love that I live in Kingston, or sometimes in Portmore, because when I'm in Portmore, I'm kind of on the outskirts of that fast life, so it's easy for me to access and to go in. So Jamaica is very diverse in that, where like Barbados is amazing as well if you're somebody that you just want to relax. Like you just want to relax. You want like your children to go to school, your children to be calming, and I don't believe it has that much of a. And this is just for me. Maybe somebody will go there and find that, but I don't believe it has that much of an earthy element.
Okay.
To it. Barbados is quite built up. It's quite great. Like Barbados got amazing structures. Like their roads are amazing, buildings are amazing, systems in place are amazing. Like very built up systems. So I wouldn't say it has that much of a. It's called Little Britain, isn't it, for a reason?
I did not know that. Is that true? Really?
Yeah, there's loads of British people in Barbados.
I did not know that. Like living there as well.
I actually think in Barbados, the homeowner percentage is quite high. Brits are quite high for ownership of like properties in Barbados.
Oh, really? I had no idea. And would you say, like, when you say Brits, do you mean like black Brits, white Brits, mixed? Really?
Yeah,
yeah. I don't really know much about Barbados at all, so I had no idea. That's interesting.
Yeah, but beautiful island, very beautiful island, amazing beaches.
Of course, yeah. I expect nothing less.
They drink a lot. I love that. I learned to drink a lot in Barbados. Like your body becomes immune to drinking. Just I'm going out for a drink. They know how to have. Once you're in a group, you found your group for you. They know how to have a good time.
Yeah.
They're quite self-entertaining. So yeah, lovely, lovely island.
Nice. But that's one of the things that I love about the whole idea of CARICOM and just the ability to be able to check out the different islands. And I think you said before we started this that you can find direct flights between Jamaica and Barbados.
Yeah, there are direct flights. There's also a flight. Would we call it direct? It's partially direct. So what it does is like it stops in Trinidad for an hour, but you don't get off the plane. It literally just stops to let people off and let people on.
Oh, really?
And refuel up, and then they're off again.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of like direct because you're not really getting off. You're not really checking out. You're doing nothing. You can actually sleep through that hour. But again, there is a direct flight. It's about 3 hours.
Okay.
I think it is. So there is a direct flight. Okay. You can also go by Miami. And yeah, Barbados is amazing. Again, I don't think I mentioned here, but I worked in Barbados as well.
No, eventually, I don't think we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, so we'll maybe speak about it in another one. But I worked there. Like once I finished university, I decided to go back to Barbados.
No, we didn't get to this.
Yeah, went back and I worked there. But so I moved back to the UK from Barbados. I was working there. I worked in real estate and I worked in healthcare as well. But in administrative roles like business, operational roles, yeah.
How was it working there?
I really enjoyed it. Work life was amazing. One of my jobs that I had, it's quite an early shift. So maybe start was maybe like 7 or 8. But I just find in the Caribbean, like the sun just wakes. I just find in sunny countries, even England right now, sunny. The sun wakes me up.
Yeah.
Like it screams at you. It's just like get up. So it's okay for me to get up early and to go to work. So my shifts were quite early. I was finished work by 3. And I would go home and I would nap. And then I would go out and drink. I would go out and meet a friend. Like, as I said, beach view.
Yes.
I would watch the sunset, have a drink, have something nice to eat. So it was just it's a very, one thing I love about the Caribbean is it's a very balanced lifestyle.
Yes.
So I think it removes a lot of like depression. It removes a lot of pressure from you because I think, again, like I said, in the UK, like for instance, there's jobs where they want you in office for 9 hours. You're commuting in the morning for an hour to an hour and a half, and then in the evening. By the time you get home, it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You then need to still wind down and get ready for work the next day. So that then doesn't leave much time to unwind or to be social.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when do you really rest? So yeah, working was amazing. Yeah.
So how long were you out there for working?
Just over a year and a half, I think. Yeah, just under a year and a half.
So was it COVID that brought you back to the UK?
I would say partially COVID.
Okay.
I feel like it's a bit isolating at one point because, again, my family and a lot of my friends were like here. So in COVID, I was, again, because I lived by myself, I was just by myself. COVID. Although, because at the time when I was working, when COVID happened, I was in healthcare. So I was still required to leave the house a lot. Because healthcare calls for that. But outside of that, spent a lot of time in. And COVID in Barbados was absolutely different to COVID in the UK.
In what sense?
It was a lot more controlled.
Okay.
It was, there was a lot more control because you can imagine, like, it's a smaller island, so they could probably control their demographic a lot easier than, UK. That's quite a big land space with loads of people, quite a dense, population as well. So one thing that stood out for me kind of was the way in which you shopped during COVID. They put a system in place where you could only shop on the days that the letter of your surname was assigned to. And I think they may have had like hours. So say for example, I don't think it was like this example, but say for example, Monday between the morning hours was like A to C.
Yeah.
Then they would have that system in place and you kind of would go, you would line up and you wouldn't be allowed in the superstore unless your last name started with C, because they would have like a security guard or someone like at the checkpoint checking IDs.
You had to have your ID
to ensure that that was the last.
Wow.
I don't think it was the same in the UK.
No way. No, not at all. No, it was chaos. It just felt like chaos. Just and long queues, just trying to get in and
So there's a lot more formality in that sense in the Caribbean.
Interesting.
I commend them. They done really well. They done really well with curbing the rate of how COVID spread in the Caribbean. So they did really, really well.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Cool. Awesome. What about favorite food in Barbados and Jamaica?
My favorite food in Barbados is, I don't know. I don't. I have maybe a variety. Like their fish, I really like their fish. Their fish is like really good. One of my favorite fish was like barracuda. I actually really love their flying fish. That's like their
Nice. That's
national.
it. Yeah.
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 What else? Yeah, and fish cakes. I love fish cakes.
Nice.
Barbados. And my favorite drink, I would say, would be Mount Gay XO.
Okay.
I love Asian rum. In Jamaica, there's no favorite.
Just everything. Everything.
Anything can go. No, that's all right. I don't actually eat red meat, but
Okay.
if I did eat red meat, my go-to dish would be curry goat and white rice. There's nothing greater than driving around on a Saturday in St. Elizabeth and stopping and buying curry goat. Nothing greater. But yeah, favorite drink in Jamaica would be Appleton.
Of course,
I do like drinking a lot. But yeah, everything. I think, like, even when I used to go to university in Jamaica, because I love the cuisine a lot more, I used to just buy food for the sake of it. Like, I was not hungry, but it was in front of my eyes. So I had the money, and it was like, well, why not buy it? Like, your belly doesn't need it, but why not buy it for Haiti? Because it's there.
It's there.
And Jamaica campus is amazing. Like, they have like everything on campus. I just feel like it's just a mini island itself. they have KFC on campus. They have Burger King on campus. Okay. They have Juicy Patty on campus. They have their own cook shops. Like, they have little huts where people may like sell juices and they're like snacks and stuff like that. So
that sounds fire. Yeah.
It's like you don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah. And did you have the KFC out there? Because
most definitely. But KFC is somewhere that you wouldn't really catch me going on the regular, because the minimum wait, and this is the minimum wait in a line in Jamaica for KFC is an hour.
An hour. Man.
And people wait. I think the longest I've waited in a line in KFC is over 2 hours.
You waited in line for 2.5 hours for KFC. It's Jamaican KFC though, so I get it.
Yeah, Jamaican people love.
Oh yeah, they love. Well, they love Jamaican KFC because it's Jamaican different. KFC. It's different. It is different. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's serious. Wow.
Yeah. They always like KFC is always has the longest line. I've never, ever in my life experienced walking past a KFC that's empty. Never. It's not possible.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. But no, it's different. It's neat. I feel like KFC in Jamaica is an experience though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, Tahira, thank you so much for joining us. It was amazing. I learned so much about learning and studying in Jamaica and Barbados, and I cannot wait to go back to Jamaica now. So thank you for that. And family, thank you for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.